I've spent 25, 26 years looking at some really appalling information and talking to people who've had the most extraordinarily horrific experiences. And while you can feel empathy for that and for empathy for them, if you get pulled into the emotion of it, then you're less effective in doing something about it, because you're getting pulled into low vibrational emotion again of hatred, of fury against the beast. What I do is I do observe what's going on, and I not a cold neutral, but I try to hold an emotional neutral, so that I'm clear thinking enough to think, well, what's the most effective way of me dealing with this? And I can honestly say that when I look at the people who are behind this, I look at the awareness or lack of it that's behind this. I look at some of the characters like Henry Kissinger, and I look at Hillary Clinton, and Father Bush, and all these people, Cheney, and Blair in this country, all these people, and people, even like Erdogan in Turkey, this tyrant of a man called a democratic leader. And I see what they do, but I feel no hatred for them. And funnily enough, I feel no animosity towards them. I just want to do everything I can to change it, so that their impact, their control, and their influence is no more. Because if I start getting pulled into hating these people and into levels of fury and antagonism towards them from an emotional level, what am I doing? I'm feeding the virus. I'm attaching myself to the virus. And, I have this line in one of my books years ago: what you fight, you become. There's so much evidence that that's the case. What you fight, you become. That's why so many so-called revolutions end up the same as before, except with different people in charge. So your point about observing it and staying neutral as best you can is very, very important, because otherwise you're going to get pulled into what you're challenging again. And it's about turning what we would call anger into effective action, rather than staying with the anger and just constantly throwing out the anger and fury at your target. That may make you feel better in the moment, but it ain't going to change much. In fact, you're adding to that you want to change. It's very important we do that, to stay neutral and don't get pulled into not anger. I mean, you feel anger when you see it. I feel anger when I see what's done to people in Gaza, but you then channel that into, okay, calmly, how can I best make a difference and make a contribution to changing this? That's the way we'll get out of this. Red mist doesn't usually make good decisions. Anger and frustration are almost different expressions of the same state of being. You get frustrated because you can't do anything, you feel you can't do anything about what you're angry about. And that makes you more angry, and you get more frustrated. It's almost like a pendulum going, like anger, frustration, one feeding off the other. And to break that cycle, we just need to calmly say, well, okay, how can I most effectively contribute to this? And do it calmly, and then you break that cycle. You not only become less angry and more focused on, okay, how do I make a difference? Because you've let the anger become something else, your frustration goes. And I'm not sitting here cross-legged on a mountain. You probably noticed, cross-legged on a mountain, like the Buddha. I've been through these decades. I've been angry at what I've seen. I've been deeply, deeply frustrated at not being able to make more of a difference at that time, in that moment. And I've been through all these emotions, and gradually you start to realize through experience and learning from experience that there's a better way of doing it. And it's better for you, it's better for your equilibrium, it's better for your health, and it's certainly more effective in terms of what you do. So I've reached a point now where I've never been more passionate about what I do. I've never been more determined to do everything I can to make a difference. But at the same time, I've never been more laid back and chilled about what I do. Because, you know, years ago, I would have said all the first bit, but behind it, I would have had this fury, this anger, this frustration at what was happening in the world and why things weren't changing quicker. And you know, I've reached a space now where I'm doing things more effectively, but they're having a much less impact on my emotions and dragging me into these states of anger and frustration. So I'm not saying, you know, I'm cross-legged on a mountain. I'm saying from my experience, this is the most effective way to interact with what we're trying to do.